catch that.
My nephew.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So new nephew was born on Friday.
Oh, nice. Congrats for the fam.
Yeah, it's like daily calls not with him, but just basically looking at him.
Yeah. That's fun,
watching
though.
him sleep. Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. It was a bit of a stress, but
yeah, not good times, man. That's cool. Well, listen, man, I appreciate you taking the time because I guess to be fair, when I asked you about the Monday, I thought, oh, he's gonna be making time out of his schedule. So I was like, what a guy. But you're not working. So worked out.
Yeah, I mean, it is like the work days, we go down to 4 days this week. So we don't Fridays.
Okay.
From now on, we'll only work Monday through Thursday.
Is there a reason for that, or just because?
Yeah, a few bits and bobs like we pay and stuff like that. And just the fact that it's I don't know. Well, there's lots of reasons, mate.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
Yeah,
we'll get into that. Well, listen, man, we'll kick things off because I know you're usually a pretty busy guy, and having this time must feel like a bit weird for you. So I'll let you enjoy it for the most part. So first thing, man, welcome to the Fitness Burrito Podcast. So I asked Ant what his thoughts were. So go on. What are your thoughts on the day?
Just makes me hungry.
It's all right. Ant just said he hated burritos.
Ant hates anything that's not steak, or a protein shake.
yeah. We established that on the last one. So for anybody wondering who this Ant guy is it's one of our colleagues, but basically Nick's right hand man. Whichever way you want to look at it, anyways, they work together.
Whatever.
Yeah, assistant PA. I've got the pleasure of having a friend, colleague, another mentor, really, Nik Hanley on here. And I'll just let yourself introduce yourself to the world, I guess. Who are you? What do you do? All that stuff, mate, because you'll do a better job than me.
Okay. I'll try and keep it short.
That's what Ant said last time, and he went for 20 minutes.
Oh, wow. Really? Shit for yeah. So it's 20-ish years worth of fitness industry stuff.
Sweet.
So start off with the beginning. So I tell you where I first kind of got into fitness. I had glandular fever when I was younger. So I don't really talk about that actually, but it's not that I leave it out. I just forget.
You had what? Sorry, what is it?
Something glandular fever. It was like a virus, and I had it. It makes you really, really lethargic and tired. And I had it through my GCSEs when I was about 16, 17, something like that. And so I couldn't sit a lot of the exams, and I couldn't study as well as I would have been without the virus.
Yeah.
And the only thing I was ever interested in was like playing football, playing rugby, playing basically anything that makes me move.
Yeah.
Anything that takes me away from sitting behind a desk listening.
Or under some stairs.
Yeah.
So for anybody who's listening to this, Nick works under his staircase. That's like his current office in isolation. So that's the joke. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, and under my stairs. So the only thing I was ever interested in is PE and fitness and health and stuff like that, and not really health at that age, but I'm very, very, very focused when I like something. If I enjoy something, I have selective attention. I can try as hard as I can, but it just won't. The information kind of doesn't go in, and I don't naturally spend time on it. So I ended up having an A in PE, a couple of other like crap grades in like science and maths and English and stuff, and then just basically bombed everything else. And
that's surprising.
It kind of looked at everything else in regards to like, well, what could I do now? Because you have to have X amount to go into A levels, and
yeah.
I know we were just researching and found like PT, and this was here's my age, 23 years ago.
All right.
Than that, 24 years ago, something like that.
How old are you now, Nick?
39 last
Nice.
weekend.
Nice.
Yeah, and so yeah, I've kind of found personal training in an ad. It was a Premier Global, well, what they're now Premier Global, NASM, and they did like open days. You used to go and have a look at the gyms and have that they were training people out of, and talk to the lecturers and stuff. And one person said, "Oh, you know, we're connected to this cruise ship company." I was like, "Wow!" Like traveling always interested me, fitness always interested me, and I was like, "Right, that's what I'm going to do."
Nah, living the dream.
Yeah, and so as soon as I heard that, my one focus was to go traveling and was to go and work on cruise ships at some point, whilst kind of getting experience. And then I did like BTECs and went to uni and stuff like that. And my first fitness role was very shortly after that as what they call a motivator in Fitness First. One of the handful of clubs. And essentially what it is, you're basically Hoover.
Okay. Yeah.
Hoover. You're supposed to motivate people and talk to the members and get a free membership, and that's kind of what it was.
Nice. For all the North Americans out there, Hoover's a vacuum. Just to let you
sorry,
guys
a vacuum, yeah. Vacuum cleaner.
It's all right.
And while I was doing my studying, and then was a supervisor in the college gym, and then went to work in a bar while doing that. And so I kind of got on a bit of a party scene when you're that age, like 18, 19, and, you know, out 4 or 5 nights a week and blah, blah, blah. Did Premier, did that while I was at uni, and then went to work in a hotel gym, essentially sitting on a desk doing pull tests every hour, clocking people in, doing memberships, phoning people up, doing the odd program card and stuff, and getting a few clients here and there. And then it was a spa, so it was a hotel, and 2 of the beauty therapists upstairs, they were going on cruise ships as well. So obviously that prompted me, reminded me again. Applied, went down to London, did a training for a month in London, and then which is supposed to be like 3 months. And, you know, you get your call to go on the ship whenever, really.
Yeah.
And so I got a call, your ship's ready, and off you go to, where was it? Barcelona, I think it was. Barcelona or Venice or somewhere like that. And I'm standing outside at like 11 o'clock at night looking up at this. I've never seen a cruise ship before. Like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah, come on in, blah, blah, blah. The manager comes down, come on in. I'm like, oh my God. And you get into the bowels of the ship, the crew area, and it's like just corridor. Everything looks the same. You meet your roommate and you're like, hi, blah, blah, blah. That person hardly speaks English. And you're like, right, you're at work at 6, we'll meet you up here. Wake up at 5. It takes you an hour and a half to find the place because you've never been there before. And
yeah.
Right, you got a class at 7 and right, crack on. And I spent 4 years, 4 contracts between 8 and 12 months on the ships, traveling the world from.
Is that because you enjoyed it though? Or is that because you're kind of like, I don't really know what else to do yet?
Oh no, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. It was absolute graft. Like I've got a very good work ethic. I work my ass off. So I enjoyed the work. It was very hard and very, very stressful because you essentially, I was lucky. I my shortest cruise was 7 days, i.e., they came on board on Saturday and they left on Saturday, and then we had a new lot in on Saturday, and it was that. So, but they can be like 2 or 3 days. So mine was like 7 to 14 days on my first.
So easier to build relationships then, I guess.
Challenging, challenging, because you got to sell $10,000 worth of products and services in 7 days,
which is crazy.
Yeah, so you've got to get really good at selling really quick. Otherwise, it's very it's a corporate America. So Steiner and the companies and Elemis, they're based in out of Miami. So it's very much you're a red, green, or amber on the screen in the Miami office. And if you're red for more than 2 cruises, then kind of
See you later.
And you only work on commission. You don't get paid anything. So you work on commission, you work on gratuity as well. So you either sink or swim very, very quick. And
that's crazy. Yeah. Is that still how it is now? Is that how most cruise ships would be now, do you think?
I'm sure it's different. I'm sure it's very similar, but I'm sure there's some differences there. And yeah, spent all that time traveling, getting paid, getting drunk, learning to a certain degree. Came back, worked as a freelancer, PT, built my business up in a gym. Kind of did the selling the way I felt more comfortable with, because it wasn't comfortable with me pushing and being a salesman. So it was more of an indirect way of selling, which is kind of how me and Ant kind of teach that now. And you got a captive audience you can build relationships with and rapport. So why hard sell? You don't really need to.
Yeah.
But as soon as I got back, I was like, right, I want to go to Australia. So I'd met a lot of people, a lot of Aussies, a lot of South Africans on the ships. I was like, Aussie's the place for me.
Yeah.
So as soon as I got back, my one focus was, right, let's make some money quickly. Let's spend about a year and just get a bit of a understanding of how the industry's changed over here, because you're in a box, you're completely cut off from everything. Facebook wasn't a thing back then. That wasn't even around. Mobile phones, you had, barely anything. You had a call card to call home.
Yeah.
So, technology was very different in keeping connected with the world and family and back then. So, went to Oz on a working visa. My mate was out there, and his girlfriend moved in with them, was there for about 6 months. Then they had a bit of a bust up and broke up and went down.
Yeah.
So he buggered off and travelled and met some other girl, and I moved into a shared house in Bondi and found a job. And I was working in a very, very exclusive PT studio in a place called Surrey Hills, which is a little bit like Paddington or Chelsea in London equivalent.
Okay. Yeah.
Sydney. Met this guy called Darren, who owned this gym. Just blew me away. Like the knowledge, the professionalism, the product, the service was just like, oh my God, it's amazing. My interview was a part of my interview was a group interview that he did. He had about 5 trainers there. He had about 300 members, but only 15 people could train at any one time.
Okay.
And you were a floor trainer, i.e. everybody had a personalized program. Everybody had reviews every month. Everybody had option of what we call energy coaching, which is like online coaching now, if you think of it that way, because there's a lot of it was very expensive.
Yeah.
Was there for a year and a half, nearly 2 years. Got sponsored. That fell through.
Sponsored in what? What do you mean sponsored?
To stay there, to become a citizen.
Oh, sorry, got you.
So that fell through. Came back. So I was away. I was home on a holiday back in the UK then. And he rang me up the night before I come back and said, look, we've applied for it. There was a lot of risks involved, blah, blah, blah. And there was the Aussie immigration and sponsorship kind of rules for fitness professionals is very vague. So you can get caught out a lot. And he owned this gym, no other partners. So it was a big risk for him. So understandably, like, look, can't do this. So I come back, worked out of a place called Spin City in Bondi. I don't know if it's still there or not. This is like over 10 years ago. But it was one of the original Spin studios that had an attachment gym, worked in corporate Sydney, so CBD, underneath a big banking building. Did that for a year and a half, maybe more, 2 years. There's no way I could swindle any more out of the immigration laws, twisting it around bits and bobs. Did want to Southeast Asia for a little bit, come back, worked in Sporter and Virgin, and then found a job advert for Pure Gym.
Mm-hmm.
It said, basically 24-hour gym, no classes, no inductions, get PTs in, you can PT. So I kind of went into it as in, right, I can open this gym, I can PT, and I can get what salary for manager's wage, happy days.
Yeah.
That was maybe 10 years ago. Long story short, because I don't want to go 20 minutes like Ant.
I was going to say, you're on point, you're on par.
Kind of when I'd managed 6 Pure gyms in a 4-5 year period.
Okay.
What I found was that there was this huge gap of competence for personal trainers coming into the industry,
Mm-hmm.
not knowing anything about building a business, not having that much of idea of how to train people, because the level 3 that I did was 6 long, and that was compressed now into like 4 to 5 weeks.
Yeah.
So naturally my coaching was transferred onto coaching trainers
Mm-hmm.
to build their business for what I'd learned through my career. Systemized that quite a bit, put a proposal together for the company. That was 5 years ago, and been doing that ever since. And full time for Pure Gym, and then we've online coaching a little bit. Got a mentor academy company, which we really, really love, me and Ant do, which does one-on-one coaching for PTs. We've done a group coaching format. I dropped all my clients away. They gradually kind of tailed off. And then about a year and a half ago, started coaching CrossFit, which I originally got into in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
Started coaching at my local box once every 2 weeks, and love that. Continue to do that. Compete a little bit, and that's
it. That's it in a nutshell.
and that's it.
Good though. You learn some stuff, like certain things that you mentioned there. I don't think a lot of us knew, and we work with you quite often, so that's pretty cool. So what's your actual title now with Pure?
PT business manager.
Cool. So Nik is the second half of basically the brains of the biggest fitness company in the UK when it comes to personal trainers. So, he doesn't like to show off much, but I'll show off for him. So yeah, you've done well. You've done well. Some pretty cool stories there. I'm sure there'll be some more stories coming out after a few beers once this is over.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so look, man, appreciate you taking the time. For those of you guys who don't know me, I'm Dan Q. I'm just the guy behind the podcast. I work at Pure Gym as well. I'm like, I don't know, just like an early days kind of Nik and Ant, basically. I just came out. I'm a PT business mentor, but not even close to that level yet. But you never know. One day.
Right.
So yeah, we're getting there one day at a time, right? So everything we kind of try to talk about in the podcast is all about just helping people practically apply info, get a bit of an insight from, industry leaders or even just other coaches, PTs, nutritionists, stuff like that. So I thought it'd be cool to get Nik on and just get him to talk about a few things. He's very, very knowledgeable. That's why I said I was really surprised when you said you just flunked math and sciences and everything. I would have been like, oh yeah, Nik probably just fucking aced it. Just A+ across the board, which is quite surprising.
If I'm not interested,
yeah,
I'm just not interested.
Yeah, I like that though.
Selective attention when it comes to that.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I'm kind of the same way when it comes to like reading books. I used to think it was weird if I picked up a book and then switched to another book every other day. I thought, oh, there's something wrong with me. But actually, I realized there's nothing wrong with me. I like what I like, and I'm interested in what I am. You know what I mean? Anyways, a different topic for another day. So, I thought the first question I would ask you, and I sent these over to you. First one was, I guess, just about your own training and nutrition, because Nik's this kind of guy who does these crazy workouts. He's been doing this like Norwegian. Are you still doing this Norwegian workout at home?
When I'm bored, when I'm bored, Okay. Bits and pieces. Like I've just basically, I'm just dipping out of everything.
Okay.
Really.
Yeah. So again, whatever you're interested in. So, and you mentioned earlier in your intro, like your work ethic's pretty crazy. And we can, myself and the other mentors that work under Nik and Nat can vouch for that, because this guy just never fucking stops working. I bet he was working on his birthday. So I thought I'd say, I guess, kind of how's your own training and nutrition been affected because of ISO life? And even just kind of like work in general, how are you structuring that all at the moment? Are you finding it quite difficult, or is it pretty straightforward?
I'm a very structured, I need routine.
Mm-hmm.
I have routine. And I guess the first 2 weeks, like everybody else, we were reacting to just do as much as we can, as quick as we can for the trainers.
Yeah.
So, we were doing God knows how many hours in, 18-hour days, 16, 17, 18-hour days. But I always kept an hour to train, always. And to be fair, I said to someone the other day, yesterday was probably the only, I've trained every day. I have to move. To move. So whether I've got a rower, I've got a few bits and bobs here, and even if I get on and I'll row 20 minutes and it won't be anywhere near any levels that I normally hit, just need to move. I think it's just really important for me. I just feel sluggish, and I have this cloud hanging over me if I don't move and do something. So in regards to training, if we go for training first, I guess yesterday was probably the first time I've hit a workout and I felt really good about the intensity level that I've hit it at.
Yeah.
I was motivated to do it, where pretty much leading up until now, I haven't enjoyed it. I haven't enjoyed the training, really. I've set things up to keep me accountable.
Okay.
So with my group of guys that I coach at the CrossFit gym, I've just randomly kind of thought, right, I need to do a challenge to keep them accountable, but it's also going to keep me accountable as well, because I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah.
So we started doing a 100 daily rep challenge, which basically I go upper body, lower body, core, maybe a Metcon type of movement, and every day. And today's day 17 that we've done it, and so it keeps me accountable doing that.
Yeah. For those guys that don't know what a Metcon is, Nik, can you explain that?
Metabolic conditioning. Okay, to make it really quick and easy for this, it's anything that's kind of high intensity. I would say I'd probably class it in this scenario as a whole body kind of movement. So and that's going to get your heart rate up. It's going to get lactic acid going a little bit. So any type of kind of multi-joint movement, a burpee, a jumping lunge, anything like that, a thruster, anything like that was multi-joint movement. It's going to get your heart rate up. It's going to challenge your core. It's going to challenge your breathing. In this scenario, that's what I'd kind of say.
Okay, sweet. So you guys been doing a bit of that then most days?
Yeah. Say today's day 17, and then I've sort of just tried to, on a working day, I've tried to get up and do something, whether that's a run or a row, and then at 6 o'clock I will then train again, whatever type of workout that is, and I've just locked that in now. So training wise, it has affected it quite big. I'm still training just as much, but volume, enjoyment, I'm not really enjoying it that much, if I'm honest with you.
It's tough, I guess, when you're probably going from an environment where you're around people too, eh?
Yeah.
Like CrossFit, you've got a bunch of people around you, you're getting motivated, people are, high fives, yelling at each other, motivating, and then you're just at home and it's just like, fuck, how do I get motivated for this?
I don't enjoy, it might be a bit weird this, I don't enjoy, because my gym's doing the live workouts. I don't enjoy doing it.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I don't enjoy joining in. I don't know. I don't know. It annoys me.
I know what you mean. Like I personally, like I know, like we're teaching live classes and stuff. We got like a private group. We're about 5-6 coaches, and like I enjoy teaching them because I know it's helping other people. But I don't know if I would necessarily just like, I don't know, be wanting to just tune in every now and then. Like I might do, but I don't. It's just different. It's not as engaging for me.
Yeah. No, and it you know, we just did a charity workout this morning, and yeah, it's just, I guess, yeah, I don't know what it is. I just want to crack on, get it done,
Yeah.
get it finished. I enjoy speaking to the guys. Obviously, the social element of it's brilliant. I love that. But nah, not the workouts.
What about your food? Like you track quite often? Like do you always track?
I went through a period of time where I know I might have tracked for 6 to 9 months, something like that, last year.
Cool.
I use that a number of different reasons, really. First of all, I think you got to experience stuff to give advice and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I've done lots of different diets before in the past. I've tried lots of different diets before in the past, but I've never like meticulously tracked and then done it as a bit of a guideline, you know, so slacked off a little bit. And then probably this year I haven't tracked. I've just started to track like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
It was just for me kind of get a bit of a reference point of where I'm at.
Yeah.
Again, just so I can, I guess when I'm speaking about it to PTs and speaking about it to like the guys at the gym, I've got experience to talk from rather than just, oh yeah, you do that, I'll do that, I'll do that.
Yeah.
I can relate to people, and I think that's really important.
Yeah.
So yeah, food wise, again, need to be very structured. Not structured as in I count calories, like nothing like that, but like I need to have everything here. I get a bit of anxiety if I don't, like, so I got deliveries in, you know, my normal muscle food come, this come, I'm good, like I feel okay now. But if I have that, I'd feel a bit anxious.
I just started tracking literally, what are we today? Monday? From Friday. Same thing. I wanted to get a bit of an idea of what I was eating, how many calories. So then I could start relating to people a bit more too. Like when we start coaching people a bit more closely. It's surprising. Like I've done it before, but literally weighing everything, I've never been that meticulous about it. And it's surprising. Just it's kind of nice though in the beginning. I think I'm going to try to do it every day for as long as I possibly can until I get sick of it. But right now I'm enjoying it. And I'm going to try to like lose a good 10, 15 pounds the next 2-3 months and see how that goes. Just to see what people go through. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't even think it's the calories for me. I think it's the control.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I think because there's so many things outside of my control now that I can't do. It's been taken away. That control makes me feel a little bit more relaxed, I guess.
That's a good point. Yeah, it's a good point.
I think, yeah, you know what? One of them things with like my fitness plan and stuff, once you've tracked for like a week or two, it's just literally going back into your recents and just clicking the same things again and again. Do you know what I mean?
Because most people eat the same stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, food. Yeah, probably eating a lot best, like tons better, because obviously my normal job travel sometimes 3-4 days a week, eating at hotels and stuff like that. So I'm actually really enjoying. It's not particularly. I'm not aiming for a calorie deficit or anything, but just being able to make food, having fresh food. You know what I mean? Like just that side of things. Actually, it's quite.
You probably have more time now, don't you? Like in a weird way. Would you say you have more time to just actually cook and prepare stuff? And even if you're getting things delivered, just like I can actually sit down and not be in a hotel every friggin' day and enjoy it.
Oh, 100%, mate. Yeah, definitely. Most of the stuff, probably on average, I'm away 3 days a week. Probably. So the other 2 days I'm used to working from home, but like this is obviously a bit more than I'm used to. But
Yeah.
yeah, you get yourself into a routine and a rhythm, don't you?
Cool. No, I think it's cool just to get every person's insight into their own training nutrition, because I think a lot of people feel like maybe especially coaches and PTs, we're still just on it and nothing's changed and we're still just like hammering it at home, even if it's body weight workouts, when the reality is like we're all kind of just like, fuck, this sucks. And it might take us a few weeks to just get over it and then go, well, you know what, like Nick's been in the business for 20 years plus, and he's just told you that he had his first decent workout in his mind yesterday, did you say, or something? 2 days ago?
Yeah, yes.
So there's nothing wrong with maybe taking like 2 to 3 weeks off and just saying, like, I'm just going to chill out and, you know, enjoy this time, I guess, if I can, and do whatever. And then I'll get back into it when I'm ready. Everyone's different, aren't they? So cool. I think this leads on to the next bit, which is, and I asked Ant this, so I'm kind of curious to kind of get your answer, which was just the thoughts on the fitness industry right now, and I guess where you anticipate it being in the next 3 to 6 months. And I'll ask you some questions in between that, I guess, just to kind of like steer it and guide it in certain directions. But yeah, what are your thoughts right now? Obviously, we've just had, you know, Pure Gym's got what, 4,000 plus PTs. How many PTs would you say are in the UK ballpark?
How many PTs are in the UK?
Yeah, like
cool number to put on, because you've got PTs who are, you mean live, actively working?
Yeah. You reckon there's like 15,000 plus easy?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you're thinking this whole COVID has forced people to now become an online coach of some sort, whatever package, whatever product they offer. So I guess where do you kind of see the fitness industry now, and where do you think it's going to be the next 3 to 6 months? Do you think what's happening now is going to be sustainable? Do you think people are going to drop off? Do you think we're going to get oversaturated, or do you think people are just going to be like, what do you think is going to happen?
I think all of the above, mate, to be fair. I think the ones that have relied on just being a trainer, when I mean about just being a trainer, I mean they come in, people give them 30 quid, they train them for an hour and they go home. No real service or offering or contact between the next session.
Yeah.
I think those people are either going to sink hard. You're not, you know, you may have a little bit of a break and come back when things settle down. But I think when you come back and when things are settling down, I think you're going to be a very small fish in a massive pond of trainers who have diversified their offering.
Yeah.
And I think those guys I think they'll probably struggle in the long run if they don't.
Do you think things were saturated before this happened, or were starting to become saturated?
No way. Nowhere near. Like if you just, I think when you look at so let's look at 1 point whatever million members, right?
Yeah.
Look at that.
Sorry, Nick, that's the amount of members we have in our company. That's why we threw that number out. But yeah, sorry, keep going.
Yeah, so that's many members we've got. We've got 3,500, something like that, trainers, something like that. So percentage-wise of those 1 point whatever million members, you're probably talking about 5 to 7%. Those members are having PT. And if you think about the churn, and for people listening, Pure Gym has essentially a no contract. So every single day, when normal operating hours, without COVID-19, you'd have new members joining every day from anywhere from 10 to 30 and leavers every single day. And so the saturation on members in the gym is non-existent essentially.
Yeah.
So if you take that percentage on that much membership base, it's not even close to being saturated. It's not even close to being competitive. The problem is that PTs are surrounded by other PTs, and they, in a social environment, from a social media environment, and also then from a working environment when they're actually in the gyms. So all trainers will see is other trainers. And so the perception that can create, or does create, in my opinion, is the fact that everybody's doing this and everybody's doing that and everybody's offering this and everybody's offering that. And that is the fixation. And that's what ultimately alters and has a big influence on trainers' decisions in regards to business and what they do, what they don't do, what works, what doesn't work, opinions, all that kind of stuff. So
I think a good way of maybe looking at it too, I was just thinking in my head, was like, if I went to the bar, right, when this is over, and I was around 20 people and I asked every single person what they do, chances are there might be only one person that turns around and says, I'm a PT, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if 15 of them said, oh, I'm a PT, I'd be like, Jesus Christ, everyone's a PT. But that's not the case, is it?
No, there is. I mean, I feel like I said this a lot the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I think this whole situation that we're going through has absolutely, without people realizing, just heightened the need and the want for fitness professionals when it comes to PTs,
especially the good ones.
100%. You know, from a structure, accountability, education, support, an ear to talk into, a break from normality, you know, a sense of community, a sense of belonging. And we haven't even touched on to get them to lose body fat, which you probably put that as number one, but it's, you know, people do want to do that now, don't get me wrong, but all of those things, that's what people are looking for and needing now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They're not looking for, you know, take away people's holidays in the summer, which technically this has, and not a lot of people looking for beach bodies anymore.
Yeah.
You know, but there's still, you know, you've still got, you know, a massively high percentage of PTs that I've spoken to, and I've spoken to hundreds over the last kind of 3-4 weeks, have retained a massively high percentage of their client base. Huge percentage of their client base. And there's not many that I've spoken to where the client is, you know, excessively focused on losing body fat or getting abs in the next 6 weeks.
Yeah. They more just want to keep moving and stay motivated and just almost have a bit of accountability and control, I think, to your point.
100%. 100%. So I think that is going to, I think I think now what's happening now is that people have more value on what additional support and services that a personal trainer brings to someone's life.
Yeah.
And crucially also, personal trainers are realizing that as well.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing, is the fact that, you know, we spent 3 or 4 days basically answering the question, well, I don't know if I can charge that amount of money that I was charging face-to-face when I go online. You know, and that question has been answered for a lot of them now through doing that, you know, so they have value. And so when they go back into the gym, like 3-6 months time, whatever it is, that is going to be a huge element of what they're offering, which brings a higher value to their service, because it's not just 60 minutes worth of PT, which brings a higher price point. But then they are going to retain some people, if not a lot of people, that just want to do the online stuff because it's more convenient for them.
Yeah. I think from sorry, keep going.
Whether that's like remotely or just structure and accountability.
Yeah. And I think for those who are listening, who are more like the consumer, this is huge, like great news for you, because it means that a lot of the PTs that probably were just taking 30, 40 pounds or dollars or whatever your currency is, you know, they were probably just taking it and exchanging time for that workout, and that was it. and they wouldn't probably even talk to you, and they might not even message you after, and you probably had nothing else, no nutrition, no, basically not even a program probably. Like we've seen that, right? So this is going to start flushing that out massively. And it's probably forcing a lot of people to go out there and just learn again, like things that you've mentioned, they're having to go and get new skills and learn new things that they probably never even thought in a million years they'd have to learn. Whereas now they're like, shit, I'm screwed if I don't, because I'm just going to probably just get lost or forgotten about because everybody else is doing it.
100%.
So if you're a consumer, you're probably, you should be happy right now, because it just means the service and the product's going to be way better.
Oh yeah. And you know what? It means you don't have to do the fucking fad diet, new recipe book, new weight pill, the shit infomercials. There you go, American. Of like ab crunchers and all that crap, right? You've got now professionals that you would have only been able to access through going to a gym that are actively out there online, have got a great service, who have got a better way of delivering it, and that is going to be a better return on investment for you, instead of jumping from one fad diet, one new product to the next diet pill, etc. You're actually getting someone who's going to be there, who's actually educated and actually qualified and actually knows what they're talking about and has experience in working with people just like you. So if anything, in regards to, if you take the fitness, health and fitness sector, if anything, in my opinion, is going to have an impact on those types of companies. So, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. Cool. So I guess to summarize, all those pretty crazy times in the long run is going to be probably quite beneficial, really.
It's going to be awesome, mate.
Yeah, for PTs, for consumers, for the industry, because like you said, people are probably putting an even more heightened value on their health now. And yeah, hopefully it helps a lot of people moving forward. Cool. That's good. Sweet. So next one, I thought it'd be cool now to shift a little bit and go into just your opinion on training from home and how you would structure it, because I know you've read like Eric Helms' stuff, haven't you? I've just finished his strength pyramid. I'm just about to finish nutrition pyramid. So yeah, I know. I'm just curious to see what you're going to say about this. So how would you go about structuring someone's program from home right now? And what's the difference between a beginner versus someone who's probably more, intermediate experience? So by that, I mean, they've actually legitimately trained for 2 to 3 years consistently. So what would you do with the beginner to start off?
I'll start with things that I'll do for both.
Okay.
First of all, I've got to go, I think about this from maybe a little bit of a different perspective from programming first. The very, very first thing I believe should be delivered is, first of all, it should literally be the best hour of their whole day.
Okay.
So from an escape from the family, escape from work, whatever that is, it needs to absolutely be fun and enjoyable. So that means I've got to meet them where they're at, right? Okay. They've got to enjoy it. They've got to find it either challenging, banter flying back and forth, jokes flying. It's got to be enjoyable, has to be, right? Because the grind is only going to stay there for so long, right? And people will get bored. So it's got to be fun. And I've got to, I suppose this is going to go in a few different phases, but my first thing that I'd start off, and this is for both of them, is to really, really manage and really find out what their aim is during this particular training phase. So if you look at this as a training phase, right? Yeah. So while we're in quarantine, while we're on lockdown, while we haven't got access to everything, this is our training phase. So what is the aim over the next, let's just break it down to go month on month, because I think anything longer than that and you're kind of going, well, yeah. Anything shorter than that, and I think that could kind of bring around, I I guess lack of focus sometimes, because you obviously break the 4 weeks down into month into 4 weeks, and then just build it there. So those are the first things that I would say are paramount for every single one of them, from a beginner all the way through to an advanced. For a beginner, the only thing I would suggest with the beginner, or would start off with the beginner, is 100%. The next thing is would keep them safe.
Mm-hmm.
Being a beginner, going through that, I suppose, learning the limitations both mentally and physically of where they're at, and push themselves to their kind of perceptions on pain, whether that's it's a pain, it's an injury, or it's a pain because you're working hard. So in regards to like exercise selection, it would be very, very, very simple, like incredibly simple. I'd definitely play around with the variables so they can control the whole thing throughout. I definitely understand what their perception of working hard is, so I can meet that. Cool. If I be on a pool of sweat by the end of the session, then I'm going to be giving them that. I think that is kind of how I'd structure a beginner, and very, very similar to an advanced as well. To an advanced trainer. Obviously, the difference with the advanced trainer is they have got experience, they have got, I wouldn't say technique down, but obviously say much more understanding of and awareness of their body.
Yeah.
Around massive advantages from a training perspective as well, because your cues can be very, very specific, your variables can be very, very specific on what you're adjusting throughout.
Yeah.
Do I think that if I've got someone, for example, from an athlete to someone who wants to build muscle, the question keeps coming back saying, if I've got someone who wants to keep on gaining, can I do that? Yeah. Yeah, you can. The only problem is you're going to have to think about it a lot more. The sets, reps, progressive overload, adaptation, stimuli that you're after doesn't particularly change if you're taking away a barbell and replacing it with a dumbbell. If you're taking away a dumbbell, an external load, and you're going through time and attention, rep ranges throughout the week, sets throughout the week, etc., split, rest, nutrition, like the variables just have to be probably more specific throughout that thing. So I think my main answer, which is no answer at all in detail,
it's all right,
is specifically okay. So let me give you an example. A girl this morning, she messaged me because we're doing the 100 rep challenge. She's like, I haven't felt my hamstrings work in 3 weeks. Okay, I'm like, right, what's the focus here then going forward? Because I can give you a very simple, what kit have you got? She's got a dumbbell. That's it, 15K dumbbell. That's all the kit she's got. I was like, right, so what's the aim of this going forward? But, until we can get back in the gym. And for her, it was like just to not lose strength and to not lose that kind of muscle tone. Okay, cool, right. What time have you got to dedicate to that throughout the next 2-3 weeks? Let's just go for 2-3 weeks at a time. Right, well, I want to work them every single day. I say, okay, well, first of all, let's step back a little bit. Realistically, you're not going to be able to do that and keep that consistently. So let's go for it every other day, and let's go for, right, what type of flooring have you got? And why I say that is because you can obviously make sliders out of plates or towels or something like that, which can be so beneficial, and you don't have to go out and get kit. Let's think about the technique, the execution, all that kind of stuff. And so simply by that, she's got like 3 or 4 exercises where she's going to rotate over every other day. So hit 4 times a week, which is going to equal X amount of sets and reps over that 7-day period, which should keep that muscle tone there if we are constantly kind of adapting that on a weekly basis, depending on feedback etc., etc. So, yeah, I just think it's going to take, and this is where kind of, it sparked my interest back into programming a little bit.
Yeah.
Because, it makes me kind of go, right, let's take this 4-week block here and right, let's break this down. She wants CV sessions in there. She wants metabolic conditioning. She wants anaerobic work in, and she wants kind of slow tempoed exercises to really focus on some particular areas. So now I've got programming going on here, which is like, all right, so
that's quite tough though, if she wants all of that.
Yeah, but to be fair, that's the typical kind of person I'd probably work with now.
Yeah.
Is a CrossFit style trainer.
Yeah.
And you're not going to get gains in strength like you would do if you were on a pure strength program, and same if you're on the CV, and same if you wanted for example. But if you're working with something like an undulating program where you're going up and down a little bit, crossing over those modalities, you can get a good balance of them all.
Yeah, defo.
So yeah, I think there's not much, in all fairness, that changes from beginner to advanced, except for the advanced. I think the biggest advantage you've got in the advanced is they're more aware of how to move their body.
Yeah, and hopefully they do it properly.
Exactly. So proprioception is probably one of the toughest things you're going to be challenged with a brand new person at this stage, coaching them.
Yeah.
It's just, when you've got that brand new member in the gym and you're trying to get them to push their hips back to initiate a squat or a deadlift.
Yeah.
And they
can't do it. Can't do it.
That's the big, so those kind of things is going to be probably the biggest challenger for a beginning, but you've got that advantage for a more experienced trainer. Cool. So yeah.
Sweet. So yeah, I think that was a very detailed answer with maybe not so much direction, but I appreciated it. I get what you're saying. For everybody else, you can try to unpack that can of worms yourself. But yeah, I think to summarize it, Nik's kind of saying, look, you got to make sure you enjoy it. You got to make sure that it's safe. You probably just want to focus on doing it properly. And then once you've done that, then you can probably start playing around with your sets and your reps and all the rest. But I think with a beginner specifically, like, you will get stronger if you just get better at the movement. And that's just proven. It's like your brain gets more efficient, and because your brain's more efficient, your body's more efficient, and you can lift heavier shit. But yeah, I think a lot of people think you can't make gains at home, and it's really surprising. Sure. Yeah, it's really, really surprising. Like I just started my new program today, and I actually got a coach, a buddy that I work with who's a coach to do it. He's a S&C guy, and I actually completely scrapped it and just did my own off the back of listening to Eric Helm. So he's gonna be devoed. He's gonna be devoed when I tell him. You'll probably find out here. But like,
thanks for this. But I just did this instead.
Yeah. I know. Literally, that's what happened. So I'm just like, I'm not gonna tell him. But you know what I mean? Like today, just to give an idea, like I found out you could do pull-ups using your door. Have you done that before?
Yeah, just on the top.
Yeah. So I was like, fuck, that's a game changer. So I was like, perfect. I'm going to do pull-ups on the door, and then I'm going to do handstand push-ups. And I can't do like more than 5 handstand push-ups. So I'm just going to get stronger. But like, these are the type of things that are going to lead to, again, overload and progression in the weeks to come.
Yeah. I think, I am sorer. I've got DOMs more now than past year.
Do you?
Yeah, because I've got one 30k dumbbell.
Mm-hmm.
I've got one 30k kettlebell. I've got bands. So everything is unilateral. Everything.
Yeah, which will be good.
And I'm used to I'm very much. We use dumbbells a lot, but I'm used to a barbell. I'm used to a pull-up bar. So everything's unilateral. Like overhead walking lunges, unilateral.
Have you noticed a difference between sides?
Sorry?
You noticed a difference between sides?
It's ridiculous, but I knew that already. But my legs are unreal. Probably 20% weaker, I'd say.
Really?
Yeah, huge difference, massive difference.
But this is what's so nice about, like, you know, if you're looking at the positive sides of training at home and you're having to do a lot of unilateral. So for anybody who doesn't know what that word means, it means just like, you know, one side at a time. And you'll find out a lot about your body quick, and you'll find out that you can't fire certain muscles the same way on certain sides. And, you know, your back's actually maybe working a little bit more during your lunges or your pistol squats. And you're like, Jesus, man, like, what is going on? But this is the time you take to fix it if you can.
Yeah.
So,
and I have done 2 sessions of mobility as well.
Nice. Yeah. That's one thing I haven't done a whole bunch, and I need to get on it.
ROMWOD.
Yeah. Yeah.
ROMWOD, mate. It's good. It's
cool.
good.
Sweet.
Put it on.
Yeah. I'll have a look. But no, sweet. So moving on to the next bit, because we're doing pretty decent for time, but I don't want to keep you too long. So every episode we do a flavor of the week segment. So basically the idea was anybody who came over or whoever I went to their house, like, I'd always bring a burrito. It was like a thing. It was going to be a joke. It's like, I'll bring you a fucking vegan, veggie, or a meat burrito, whatever you want. But obviously you can't do that now, but we're still going to do the flavor of the week. So usually I would always bring up a journal article or like a study and then just talk about it. And it'd usually be something weird or just something that we can practically apply. But for this one, because you're quite deep in your thinking, aren't you? So I thought it'd be cool to get you to talk just a bit about, you know, again, I'm not saying you're an expert in this stuff. So disclaimer, I'm not saying Nik's a psychologist or anything, but I feel like he's pretty good with like behavior, motivation, and just maybe like helping people build habits because of his 20 years of experience. So what are 3 things you'd recommend or suggest to people, I guess, to stay proactive when we're looking at like motivation and behavior and habit building? Like, what's something that you guys do or that you do with your clients right now, even with the PTs you guys coach?
This current place now, structure is everything. Self-awareness is the next thing. Self-aware of what the hell you're doing with your day.
Okay.
And then a clear focus, and that doesn't mean end of the year. It doesn't mean the end of the month. It could mean tomorrow. Focus for tomorrow. I think the more you can give yourself small wins when it comes to creating motivation, because motivation, you need competence. You're deciding what you're doing anyway, so autonomy is kind of going to be there anyway. And I think you need to feel a certain level of psychological safety as well by doing it.
So what does that mean when you say that?
So I think like a sense of kind of belonging. So for example, like if you're there, I'm trying to make this specific for people, but if you're, okay, let's put some context behind it then. If you're someone out there who is looking to work out, I don't know, is that your audience ish?
Yeah, just let's say, for example, let's say you're like, you know, mom or dad at home right now that's just kind of like, could be beginner and kind of gone to the gym, winged it a bit. I've done, you know, classes and whatever gym for the last 6 months. And they're kind of just thinking, oh, fuck it. Like, I just can't be asked. Don't really know what I'm doing. I could do live workouts, but man, like, you know what I mean? They're just lacking structure, to your point, probably lacking self-awareness, and they're probably lacking a focus. So how would you go about just helping them? Just maybe like do all those 3. What would you implement, or what would you get them to do?
Get them, first of all, get them to be accountable to someone else.
Okay.
100%. Whether that's joining in a class or whether it's joining in this or that, it doesn't really matter what it is. I think accountability is first really, really key. If being accountable to each other doesn't work out, which you should know that by now if you're in a couple, then don't say you pull me up on this and you pull me up on this, because if it's easier to go, oh, I'll do it later to each other, then that's not accountability.
Yeah. It's a good point. I think that is probably something that a lot of people do. You know what I mean? When you go, oh, who are you accountable to? Oh yeah, just my missus. Like, doubt it. Sorry, but keep going.
So I think the biggest thing in accountability is investing in it. Investing in a coach, investing in software, investing in whatever it is. I think is a big thing, whether that's time and money or either or. I think if you've got kids at home, just from not from my own direct experience, from my sister's experience with my niece and nephew, they stop. And so anything you can do that includes them in regards to being active. And let's be honest, right? If you're in that situation now where it's being active, which is the biggest thing, it's not particularly in like the perfect workout. It's just being active more than you currently are and more consistently than you currently are. So that, right, we're going to go on a walk for two hours a day. It's right, if I only walk for 20 minutes a day or every other day last week, then I'm going to try and do it for every day this week and take the kids out on the bikes. And just anything that consistently you can do, small little changes on a daily basis will add up to a bigger change overall, rather than trying to do a big stint on Monday, doing fuck all Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and trying a big stint on Friday, but then you're tired because you haven't moved all week, and then that rolls into Monday again. So I think anything you can do that's consistent, anything you can do that is going to include almost the challenge that you have at the moment, which is more often than not keeping the kids entertained, is going to be big. And I think, going back to my original point, self-awareness is a huge thing, because you can get through a week without being aware of what's actually happened, especially if you've got kids. Attention's on them.
That's one thing that we that I've started. Well, I do with my coaching kind of community group on a Sunday, and we always look at the week ahead, the week previous, and then we kind of go, okay, what did you learn last week? What obstacles do you have coming up? What's the aim to overcome those obstacles? And you know, it's for them, but I do it and I go, Jesus, like, it's just quite interesting. And it's quite powerful just to look back and go, was I actually productive? Did I do shit? Did I not do anything? You know, how were my workouts? When I think about it, they probably weren't that great. So what could I focus on this week? And it's like, when you're not used to doing that type of stuff, I do really think it makes a difference. I think it is quite powerful. And I think it just builds small habits that you might not even consider to be quite powerful. But in the long run, like you said, they add on to each other and it becomes a completely new ball game in the long run.
100%. I think for anyone who's listening in that boat, or anyone particularly, you've got to realize that research shows that 80 to 85% of everything you do all day is a habit. It's something that's ingrained in you. So you don't, like, if you think about what the brain would have to deal with if you're consciously thinking about every single action that you do, capable of it. So it's got to automate as much as it can. Self-awareness and being aware of what you do and when you do it and how you do it and what that ultimately leads to, whether it's aligned with your goals. And I'm not saying fat loss, it might be just feeling better, feeling less sluggish, eating a little bit healthier, whatever it is, being active with whatever your goal is. Self-awareness is probably the biggest eye-opener and gives you the best kind of understanding of how to move forward versus buying a structured routine, signing on to this, signing on to that. So that is with everybody, including me, everybody can do with a regular bout of self-reflection, self-awareness.
Cool. I think that's good. And I think we don't even need to dive in further. I think the three bits that you mentioned were pretty much spot on. So structure. So find some way of structuring your time, whether that's using, you know, your diary, Google Calendar, Outlook Calendar, an app, whatever that might be. Just start looking at where could you fit things in, and then what your days look like, your weeks look like. Self-awareness, you know, diaries, Facebook groups, anything that's going to let you write things down and actually maybe just emotionally dump feelings too. Don't be afraid to just kind of be open that way. And then I think focus, whether that's goal setting daily, weekly. I think you had a cool point about maybe not looking past the month yet. which is something I'm probably going to take away and just go, yeah, you know what, let's take it month by month, because like things just change so quick right now because of the current climate. No, cool. I like that. Sweet, mate. Well, look, we've gotten pretty much towards the end. So I always like to finish off a little bit of a quick fire round. I feel like I know you that much more already after the 25-minute intro. So thanks for that.
It wasn't 20. I didn't go longer than that.
Mate, I didn't time it, but you know, if anybody's got time out there, which a lot of you do, and you want to time Ant and Nick's intro, just
God, he'll never let me.
Yeah, it's all right. He talked about steak most of the time, so yours was kind of interesting. So, okay, quick fire round. Just as fast as you can, whatever comes off the top, which is gonna be hard for you because you take 10 seconds to think half the time.
I know, yeah.
So, go-to meal.
Pizza.
Really? What kind of pizza? I'm surprised by that.
I'd be here for 5 minutes trying to think of it.
It's all right. Just got doggo coming in. That's not bad. That's all right. You just saying hi. Okay. Go to 1RM track.
Don't have one.
What do you mean you don't have one?
I genuinely don't have one because when I'm training or lifting, there's music in the background, but I don't hear it.
You don't listen to music, eh?
All the time, but I don't.
Okay.
I don't. Do you know what I mean? It's to drown out the silence rather than.
So let's rephrase it. If you put some headphones in and that you put a playlist on Apple Music or whatever, what's it gonna be, or what's the genre?
Like Prodigy, Faithless.
No fucking idea what any of those are, but sounds good.
Oh my God.
I mean, I think I know who Prodigy is. I'll have a quick Google when we come up.
You'll know Faithless, Prodigy.
Yeah. I'm bad with names. I'm good with like if you I don't want you to sing, so spare me.
It's barely any singing, to be fair.
Okay, just the beat. I can pick up melody and stuff. All right. What's the go-to destination on holiday?
Oh shit, Hawaii.
Have you been?
Loved it.
Is that because of the cruise ships?
Yeah.
Yeah. To be fair, my mom says it's the best place to be. They've gone like 3 times.
Oh, amazing.
Every time they've gone, I was in high school, and they left me home by myself, which was a big mistake. Big mistake.
I'd have left you home, to be fair.
I mean, I had a couple parties. Let's put it that way. All right. Burpee or jump squats?
Oh, burpee.
Yeah, you love a good burpee.
All day.
Yeah. If you last question, I had a couple good ones, but you threw me off with some of your answers. I guess for the people out there, you single, ready to mingle, or are you taken?
Single.
Okay, so all the ladies out there, if you can't see him, he's a good-looking guy. If you're listening, for everyone listening, he's a CrossFitter, so he's shredded, isn't he? He's shredded.
Not after this.
yeah, that's fair. And then I guess if you had to pick between Ant Park, who's his right-hand man, and Dan Barrett, who's like just a guy you always make fun of, but they're both good crowds.
All right.
You pick Barrett all day. All right. If you guys don't worry if you don't know these two people. I just had to know. It's just a question for myself. He'll like that. He'll like that answer. But listen, man, that pretty much concludes the Fitness Burrito Podcast. I think this is episode 8 now. Pumping some out. Yeah. So had Peter Purigym on.
Wow.
Yeah, on Thursday. So that was a good laugh. So that one will be dropping today. But listen, Nick, thanks a lot. Appreciate the insight on stuff. Tell the people where they can find you, what you're doing. Obviously, you mentioned a few things at the beginning, but yeah, Instagram, Facebook, all that kind of stuff.
Facebook, don't bother.
Okay.
I'm on it enough with work. Instagram, PTMA Nick or Nick PTMA. I can't remember which way it goes.
Yeah.
As you can see, I leave the social to Ant most of the time.
Nice.
So on there,
Cool. And then all the info for your, mentorship academy, that's usually on your Insta, isn't it?
Yeah, bits and bobs are on there. Yeah.
Cool. So once again, thanks again to Nik Hanley. So great guy, absolute ledge. He's still under a staircase having a blast. And if you need to find him, go check him out on Insta. Check out his mentorship academy with his fellow colleague Ant. If you guys are PTs, it's pretty shit. So just come work with me instead. I'm just kidding. It's actually pretty good. It's really good. I actually tried to work with you guys. I asked Ant one day. I was like, "Oh, do you need any help?" He's like, "Fuck off, no, don't need any." I was like, "All right, fine." But yeah, man, appreciate that. I'm just gonna stop this recording, just so it, doesn't record.